Betsy and Billy and stuff.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Crafting and Cruising. I'm Lisa. And when you get on here, say hello. If you watch the replay, please let me know you're watching the replay and where you're watching from. I'm going to try to bring up comments over here. Rodney's on comments. I'll give it just a minute to see if anybody else gets on. Hope y'all have had a great day. Hey, Sharon Bryan, how are you? Sharon, are you new to my page? I don't think I recognize your name, but I'm glad you're here. And I hope you'll hit the follow button and come back. So, hey Barbara, sweet friend, we are in Silver Springs, Maryland. Last night we were in Lexington, Virginia, which is a real quaint, neat town. And you might have seen the pictures I posted on my page of the Hampton Inn we stayed in the historic district. It was really, really cool. And then today, Rodney had a job to do. Thank you for sprinkling, Barbara. I can always count on you, my friend. It's your first time here, Sharon. Well, welcome, and I hope you'll come back. And I hope you like what you see. So Rodney did a job, and then we drove to Silver Springs, Maryland, where he has a job tomorrow. So Crafting and Cruising is actually Micheline, my sweet friend. Hello. We're actually cruising in a rental car, and I did some crafting that I'm going to show you in just a minute. Thank you, Barbara, for welcoming her. I'm going to show you what I've done already, and then we're going to do one or two more tonight on the live. So we have had some interesting experiences, one of which was when I got here tonight and unpacked, I could not find my black paint. And we both knew it had been rolling around in the car. We cleaned everything out of the car. Rodney went back down to the car to look. Couldn't find it anywhere, and I was going to be doing some black and white check, and so I was like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? So he had housekeeping. Okay, first of all, we got here, and the room that they put us in was teeny tiny. And Rodney's a diamond member, so he asked if we could get an upgrade, so they sent us to a different floor, a different room. We got in there, and the main lamp on the desk, like where I'm sitting right now, wouldn't work. So he called again. They moved us to another room. Then I couldn't find my black paint. So he went back out to the car. Thank you, Micheline, for welcoming Sharon. And then he went and asked if housekeeping would check both of our previous rooms to see if it had fallen off the cart when we were hurriedly trying to get in and get set up. And they looked and said they couldn't find it. So I was just going to have to do something else. Hi, Beth Randall. How are you? Welcome. If this is your first time, I hope you'll like what you see, and I hope you'll hit the follow button and come back. So anyway, I was going to have to go to plan B. Well, Rodney was checking the refrigerator in the room to see if it was cold, and he called me in there, and he goes, Lisa, come in here. And I went in there, and lo and behold, I had put the black paint in the refrigerator when I was putting the waters in there. Yes, I did. So, crazy. So, before we get started, I want to show y'all.
Yes, I'm here. Somebody asked where's Rodney. He's right here.
He's here reading comments. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera around. Let me back up a little bit. I'm going to turn the camera around so y'all can see. This is my desk that Rodney made for me for when I'm in the car. Hey, Penny, welcome. Glad you're here. So this sits in my lap, and he's got it rounded out so it kind of, sits in front of me. You can see he punched some holes for my brushes. He's got a place with a sponge for my water. He's got some little things over there for my paints to go in. And I can just sit right here, right there in the car while he's driving down the road, and I can be crafting. Hey, D. Rindy, welcome. Isn't that cool? So I've got it in the hotel room tonight, and I'm just going to leave it up here, and craft with it, but I'm going to bring you guys down. So here's what we're going to be making that I've already made 2 of them, but they're all going to be different. I, for some reason, am really in the mood to do vintage Valentines. I don't really get into Valentines. I'm not a big Valentine person. I have one Valentine, been married to him for 42 years, so I don't need, I'll drop my napkins. So Valentine's is not a big deal to me, but I know some crafters really get into Valentine's and other people get into it. So yeah, he did do a great job, Micheline. It's funny to see made out of a Home Depot box, but you know they call him MacGyver and they don't do it for nothing. So, okay, so I'm into vintage. I'm gonna swipe the comments here and then look at them over here if I need to. Vintage Valentines. So we went to an antique store in Nashville the other day and I found a book of Valentine postcards and they're so cool. Let me show you just a few. Aren't these neat? Whoops, that one's upside down. Well, maybe they're all upside down now. That's sweet. I just love them. So I have put up a tree in our bedroom with lights and then some red shiny balls and glittery balls and some kind of matte color balls. And so I wanted to put some of these on tags to put on the tree or in the tree. I see my camera's backwards. Sorry, y'all. Let me see if I can turn it. So I want each one of them to be different. But, so Rodney cut me out some plain hang tags. What kind of wood is this, Rodney?
I think it's called Luan. It's like real thin,
Yeah,
1/8 inch plywood.
So he cut me out several. Let me see if I can flip the camera. Hit this. Sorry, guys. And hit this. Okay. Whew. That made me feel like I'm drunk now. All right, so here's one that I made. Isn't that so cute? Oh, I'm going backwards now. And then on the back, I did turquoise stripes, and then I distressed it with sanding paper and with wax. And what I'm gonna do with each one of them, I bought some of this little twine at the Dollar Tree. I'm either gonna stick some of the twine in there, or at a thrift store yesterday, I found some just thin ribbons. So that's what they'll hang by, or some of them I may just shove into the tree. And then I just had this real cheap looking pearly, I forgot to tell my phone, do not disturb, pearly trim. So there's one that I've already done. And then here's another one that I think is sweet. And on the back, I did the diamonds.
Micheline says those are cute cards.
Thank you. And then I distressed it, okay? So tonight we're going to do 2, I hope. One I want to do black and white checks on. Here's the card. I think this one is really pretty. And so on the back, I want to do black and white checks, and I've already drawn them off and I've already marked which ones are going to be black. If you'll notice, what was that on there? Yuck.
Sharon said Crafts and Cruising is so very nice, and she's from North Carolina.
Oh, what part of North Carolina, Sharon? Thank you.
Tony Doss is watching.
Hey, sweet Tony. So I marked my checks on the back, and then I brought them around to the sides right here just a little bit. I measured it off because when I lay my Valentine card on here, it doesn't quite cover it. So we're going to black and white check this one. Then I have one like this that I want to decoupage. A napkin on the back.
Comments on the back, and
thank you.
Micheline says she's greeting and saying hi, Tony. So she's welcome her.
So I want you all to tell me which paper you think, which napkin you think I should put on the back. This is so backwards for me. Of this card. This one, which is a Mackenzie Childs. This one that I think is so pretty. with the violets on it. This one, which is another Mackenzie Childs. Or this one. I don't think this is Mackenzie Childs. It may be. Okay, so we're going to take a poll real quick. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. And this is 4. 4.
Barbara says
3.
first MC.
2.
Fisherling says 1.
1. Okay, so we got a 1, and then we got the first
Mackenzie Child.
Mackenzie Childs.
The other one says first Mackenzie Child. Both of them say the same thing.
Okay.
And
Okay, now it's number 4.
Sharon Jewel Bryan is in Central North Carolina, the heart of North Carolina.
I love North Carolina. I love, love, love it. Okay, we'll use this Mackenzie Childs one. Okay, so first, let's get some lamp black paint from Americana, Deco Art Americana.
2 people are saying number 4. 3 people, number 4.
Well, what was number 4?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It was either this one or this one. That one. The check or the diamonds. So check or diamonds. Check, diamonds. Here's the card.
You have to give them a little time.
I probably did.
So it's check,
Check
or diamonds.
or diamonds.
I think you changed 1 to 4.
I think I probably did. That's my bad. Check. Check, I love. The check.
Carolina Girl Crafting and Decor is watching.
Hey, welcome. Check. Okay, everybody's saying check. Okay, so we're going to do the check.
All right, everybody loving the check. Good deal.
Okay, good deal. So first I'm going to pour out some lamp black. Now you know if you're in Studio MDAZ with Debbie Rigg that she does a pre-drag, she calls it, before she does her black and white checks. So I'm going to take a brush and just use my antique gold from Deco Art Americana. And I'm going to dip, this is the brush I'm using. I don't know if it's the right one. I don't know that there is a right one. I'm going to dip it in the gold, flip it, and barely touch in the black. And then I'm going to see what I've got on my plate. And now I'm going to go through and just periodically, I'm going to do, this is really hard for me, I'm going to do a line. No rhyme or reason how it looks. It's a little dark for me, so I'm going to add some more gold. I'm not even in the screen where y'all can see.
Do you try to go through the same portion of
Nope.
those checks?
It's
Just
totally random. Just wherever you want to put it. Okay? This camera is really confusing me, guys. Okay. Let me move my card out of the way.
Hello.
Hey, Carol. You sweet Carol. I got my napkins that you sent me, and they are absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for thinking of me. That's so sweet of you. Okay, now I'm going to take my Zen brush. This is not the one. Here it is. That broke. The handle broke on it last night. But I think this is a number 2. Level 2. I think it's maybe a number 8. I'm not sure. I think the tag tore off of it. Yeah, it's number 8. I see the 8 on it. Okay.
Carol says you're very welcome.
All right, so we dip our paintbrush in the paint, and then I'm not going to do these top thin rows yet. I'm just going to start right here in this first one that has a check. I'm going to offload the black in the center of just somewhere in the check. I'm going to start in one corner, and I'm going to pull straight down. Probably don't have enough paint yet. And I went crooked. And that's okay. Then I'm going to go over here to this corner and pull straight down. It's hard for me to be able to see.
You want me to move the camera around
lines.
so you can just do it normally and the camera will go?
Yeah,
down?
why don't you do that? Because it'll make it easier on me if I'm not having to try to go back and forth, back and forth. Maybe you can just tilt it down and they can
I think I can move it over here. to about right here.
Or if you just tilt it down so they can see what I'm doing, then I don't care about them seeing me right now.
Hang on, everybody, for a little camera mess up. Now is that, if you just work normally, like you're working there.
Okay, you may have to
You want
look
me to zoom
in your camera to see
You
how.
want me to zoom it in some?
That might be good.
Can you zoom that? I don't know.
Can. We've done it before.
It's got a lot of you and not much of the painting going on.
Okay, why don't you put it back in front of me and just tilt it down?
Well, it doesn't like my zooming. All right, it's coming back in front.
Y'all are gonna see these checks are far from perfect. Guess what? So are Mackenzie Child's checks. Far from perfect. Look on her in her catalog or go on the website and look at some of the checks and you'll see that, and of course Mackenzie Childs herself, or whatever her name is not really Victoria. She's not really the one doing it anymore. She has artists that work at the company. In fact, I don't even think she owns a company anymore. Now I'm bringing it around on the sides just because we want a finished look. If you're gonna give something to somebody, or if you're possibly gonna sell something, then you want it to look as good as it can. So
It's got that pretty well in the frame, but you're out of the frame.
that's okay. I don't have to be in the frame. I want them just to see what I'm doing. That's the main thing. I can get back in the frame after
You'll
I
still
finish
occasionally
this.
need to hold it up closer to the
Yeah,
camera.
I will.
Get this close up. I wish we could zoom it, but it's not wanting to zoom.
We did it before when I was on live, so I thought we could. Now, on this one, right up here at the top, I'm going to treat it just like it was a part of the rest of the thing that I'm painting. So I'm not going to paint all the way across the top. Some people possibly would. I'm not. I'm just going to paint as if this check right here touches this check, because remember, you want your checks to touch each other. Again, that's what gives them a more polished look, and that's what we want. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Hello, Caroline. Caroline Orlando is watching.
Hey, Caroline,
And
welcome.
Chrissy was on last time, I think.
Chrissy Schneider?
Schneider?
Uh-huh.
Hey,
Hey,
Chrissy.
Chrissy. So, y'all, we, when we left Nashville, what was the temperature when we left? It's a little bit cooler, but it wasn't bad. And then we started traveling north, and it got cold quick. Still really no snow. Rodney, tell me about the place where we stayed last night. Y'all can see my checks are not perfect. That's okay. They're perfectly imperfect. And I can go back and touch them up either with paint or with a magic marker later, a Sharpie marker, which is what I sometimes do.
What do you mean? Tell them about the place we stayed.
Well,
The
it was
town?
the historic hotel. It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
just your typical
We stayed
hotel.
in a Hampton Inn, but it was not like the typical boxy-shaped Hampton Inns. It was an old mansion that had been converted, and there were some rooms in the old mansion portion, and then they built the entire hotel across the back and to the side. So it still had about 200 and something rooms probably, but it was old brick, and it all looked like an old kind of an old mansion area or plantation.
And then the inside, like, tell them about the
inside
inside
had
where
a
we had
spiral
breakfast.
staircase and
Yeah, it was really cool. But it was a Hampton
posts
Inn.
and things. So yeah, they've done that with several hotels that I've stayed in. Most hotel chains have a group of them that are made out of old buildings that work. They're pretty nice. They still carry all the same decor inside in most of the main rooms, but in the older rooms, they'll typically decorate them differently.
So, since most of you all don't know anything much about Rodney, why don't you give them a little summary of your growing up and what you did in school? And
We're gonna get off crafting for a minute.
well,
Kimberly
while I'm
Wood
just
is
painting. Hey, sis. While I'm
While you're
just
crafting
checking.
quietly.
You can tell them about you.
Well, let's see. I'm a farm boy, born in Lynchburg, Tennessee, down in about central Tennessee, southern central Tennessee, down not too far from Huntsville, Alabama, and
Home of
Jack Daniel Distillery. Grew up on a farm with 4 other siblings, and went to a huge high school with a graduating class of about 50, and it's just a great place to grow up on the farm. Had a few neighbors that were within, you could walk and see a couple of them, but farms were pretty big down there, so pretty well you lived and worked on the farm until you got to go to school. So did that, left there, went to college, worked at UT Space Institute for a little while, went to Motlow College, MTSU, graduated and taught school, science, physics, and so forth for a little while. Went to work at Jack Daniel Distillery, then went to work at A.O. Smith Water Heater Company, or State Industries at the time, and been with them now for 41, going on 42 years now. And Lisa and I have been married most of that time that I've been did I say I was working at Jack Daniel? I guess I did that too.
Yeah, you just left that part
I
out after I said home of.
Yeah, I skipped about working at Jack Daniel, but that's a quick summary of me. I like to design things, I like to write, like to invent things, got a few patents and so forth.
How many patents?
A few.
How many?
I like to build stuff and read and just do stuff like that.
Write.
I like to travel, write a few books and things like that. Anyway, back to the crafter, Lisa. She's the one on the show that's doing the show here. I'm just the background guy.
You're helping me while I'm just sitting here checking.
Mickey's watching.
Mickey
Hey,
Brazard.
Mickey.
Hey, Mickey, welcome. Now I just lost my train of thought. What are your hobbies?
My hobbies?
Mm-hmm.
I used to hunt some, but I've hardly hunted anymore. Used to ride and race motorcycles, all kinds. And I like to build stuff and create stuff. Somebody mentioned something that they think could be built or couldn't be built or whatever, I'll usually try to build it. I like to work on vehicles if I don't have to work on vehicles. I don't like to fix them because I have to, but if there's something fun to build, I like to build it. And Sharon Jewel Bryan says, you have a good, steady hand. Oh,
Yeah.
Good job, Lisa.
Thank you. It doesn't feel good and steady right now. But thank you. One thing he failed to mention that he has started doing later in his life is become a writer. So I want you to tell them about your books and how they can get your books.
Well, I wrote a couple of novels a couple of years ago, and I've got 3 more in the works that I need to finish. And they're adventure novels about kids growing up in a rural area in Tennessee, so you might guess that there might be a few of my own stories blended in there with the adventures in this book. Only these kids find lots of treasure, and I never found any treasure. So if you get a chance and you want a good read, or you got anywhere from 13-year-old kids on up through 90-something years old, seem to really enjoy the adventure novels. And they're available at Barnes & Noble or Amazon and other places like that. Just look up Rodney Seiler or Yellow Fever, which is the series of books.
And they are really, the first 2 that he's written are really good. Y'all, I had no idea that he had this in him. He had an idea for a long time of a kind of a book he wanted to write, but he just never really pursued it. And every now and then he'd say, oh, I need to get back to thinking about that, and then something else would get in the way. And so I don't even remember how it started exactly. He can tell you if he remembers. But next thing you know, he comes in one night and says that he has been writing a story, and that he thinks he's gonna turn it into a book. And he started telling me about it, and it was really good. And then I edited the book for him, and of course it was kind of hard for me to read it and grasp everything going on, keep up with the plot when I was really trying to, you know, look for grammar errors or punctuation errors or whatever. But when I would just sit back and read it, it was really very good. I was just like, wow, where did this come from? And he stayed after it really
About 2 months.
for a long time. When he wasn't working, he was writing on his book. And then the second one, when it came out, it's really book number 1.
It's a prequel, yeah.
He calls it a prequel. So book number 2 came out first, and then book number 1. And they're really very good.
They're both standalone books, so you can read either one first. But if you have a choice, you could read the one called
Yellow Fever, the Caged Ruby.
Yeah, the Caged Ruby first, and then Yellow Fever, Finding the Treasure Within is the second one. But anyway, they're fun books and had really good reviews from people who have read them. And but I just haven't marketed them, so one of these days I may do that.
And the thing about it is, when he said that about from 13 to 90, they're clean books. There's not, I think in the prequel maybe there was like one cuss word or something, maybe, wasn't there?
Nope.
Not at all? I
Nope.
thought you said in one book there was a little something. Anyway, nothing sexual or anything like that. But his dad read it when he was 90, before he passed away, 93. His dad read his book. So, and then he's had kids as young as 13, maybe even younger, reading, especially the second one, but it was the first one that he wrote. And so, like he said, he's got some other ones in the making, but he really hasn't spent any time on them lately.
Judith Hudson Carroll is watching.
Hey, Judy. How are you, sister? I'm sad I'm not going to see you when we have our scrapbook weekend. It's not really a scrapbook weekend anymore, I don't guess. For them, it's a quilting weekend, and for me, it's a craft weekend. But we get together, a group of girls from Ohio, and me and my friend Vicky, although I don't think she's going to get to go this year since her surgery, and go to this lovely place in Nancy, Kentucky, on the Lake Cumberland. And it's, I mean, you pass farm after farm after farm, and you think there is not going to be anything out here where we can go and scrapbook. And then you come up on this beautiful log home that she converted to a scrapbook space. And so we get together, and most of us were scrapbooking for a long time, and now our kids are either grown or we finished our scrapbooks. And so some of them quilt. I think a couple of them still may be working on scrapbooks. And the last couple times we were there, Vicky and I crafted. And it's just a fun time to get away and have girl time. And, everybody gets up when they want to get up. They go to bed when they want to go to bed. Nobody feels, pressured or anything. And it's a real fun weekend. So
Poston says Nancy's close to her.
Is it, Barbara? Like how close? Like close enough for me to come see you? I knew before we talked about when my daughter lived in Georgetown that you weren't too far from there, but I don't know exactly where you are, so let me know. It's a good thing that the back of this doesn't really matter much because I've gotten some black all over it, but I'm doing my last check right now, and like I said, they're going to have to be touched up. We're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to go on and try to get the card on and decide if we want any kind of trim on it, and if so, what trim, and then we're going to decoupage the other one, which will go a lot faster than this did because I won't be painting. But I just think not only would these be cute on a tree, but again, if you're going to give Valentines to your children, your spouse, friends, teachers, making cute little things like this, I think would be a great gift. So here's our perfectly imperfect checks. And I'm gonna dry that real quick and we'll do our top drag. This is not turned on, Rodney. So maybe.
I don't think you have to plug it up. Unplug your.
Okay, let me.
You still need your glue gun?
I'm gonna need it, but I can plug it back in a minute. Okay.
Yeah, hotels don't have as many plugs as we need.
Better watch out. The cruising crafter may show up in your neighborhood. Rodney. Okay, Barbara, how close? Inquiring minds want to know. It's about 45 minutes away. We camp at Fishing Creek Camping in Camping in Nancy a lot. Well, Barbara, I'm going to be there. I think it's the. I'll text you and let you know. I'm actually going to go up now on a Wednesday night. We'll be there Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and come home Sunday.
You may want to stop in and say hi at the crafting your thing.
Yeah, or you could come see us in Nancy. I would love that. We also go to the Mighty Dollar in, what's that town that's real close? Somerset? Yeah. We go to Somerset and shop at the Mighty Dollar.
Nellie Lawler is watching. You know Nellie?
No, I don't. Hello, Nellie. Welcome. All right, I'm just going to take this same brush. If I can. No, I'm not. It's still
Barbara
got
says, oh, do that,
stuff
please.
in it. I will.
S&J Crafting Space is watching.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello,
Glad you're here.
S&Js. Let us know where you're from. Lisa may already know I'm doing the
No, I
content,
don't.
So.
Okay, I'm going to take a little of my Waverly chalk paint. I'm going to dip my brush in it. I'm going to wipe most of it off. Let me get it over here where you can see it. I'm going to wipe most of it off. And then I'm just going to do my drags in my black area. So you start, you don't have to, but typically you start in the white and then just drag down over the black.
S&J's Crafting Space. Hi, y'all, from Susie in Denmark.
Hi, Susie. How awesome.
Susie's not from around here.
My niece, our niece is in the Netherlands. She married a man from the Netherlands, and she was over there for Christmas. And so I'm so glad you're here. But what time is it there? My word.
Lori Bowman is watching. I think I mentioned that earlier.
I don't
She
remember,
doesn't say where
Lori.
she's from. Here's a Diane Johnson. It's got a. She says hello, and she's got the. Looks like a.
Diane is a frequent visitor.
And is she from Britain?
UK.
She's in the UK. I see a little sign there. Looks a little like a UK sign.
Okay, so here's our drag. So now I think before I put a top coat on there, I'm going to go on. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to do my black checks on this side that I forgot about. So let me do that real quick. Go ahead, Rodney. Sorry.
I'm not. I was just typing in, or if I miss welcoming anybody, if there's going by kind of fast, and my phone may not be picking up everybody's comments, so I'll catch as many as I can.
You know, you can come over here and use my computer if you want to, since it seems to pick up pretty well. Now I see, can y'all see what I'm doing? Yeah, I see one of my checks from the other side came over into what should be a white check, so I'll just touch it up with white in just a minute. But since I measured these out, I already know where how much I need to do around the edge. Of course, I didn't want to do the whole thing in checks if it was going to be covered with a card. So when I'm doing the edges like this, I'm going to try to hold my brush flat so that it won't go over on the other side, because you can see the check behind this is white. So I don't want to bring it over on the other side.
Lori Bowman Whaling is from Utah.
Utah, welcome. I love Utah. I've been there 2 or 3 times.
Beautiful place.
It is. Do y'all have a lot of snow where you are, Lori?
I like Moab.
Rodney's been out there more than I have, but and I had some friends that just got back from well, it wasn't our friend. It was actually our niece. Just got back from skiing in Utah
They were at
on
Park
her
City.
honeymoon. Yep, they were in Park City. All right, almost got this done. That should be white, so this one should be black. Have to touch that up with white. So is anybody else on here RVers or campers? We got, what'd you say?
No, I was going to say, Diane Johnson said, I'm actually from England, but I live in Utah now. I think we knew that from...
Oh, that's right. That's right. I do remember that now. We bought a travel trailer. How long ago, Ronnie?
A year ago.
Year ago? Just a year? Really? We bought a travel trailer and joined a group of campers. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Yeah, I'm just going to do this whole thing in black. Joined a group that our friends were members of this camping group called the Tennessee Sunshine Travelers. And of course, about the time we bought our travel trailer and got ready to start camping, they moved to Ohio. So anyway, we have been for the past couple of years camping with this group and just having a ball doing it. But after we got our travel trailer and when I decided that I wanted to start doing crafting and cruising, we decided that maybe we needed to upgrade a little bit and get something a little bit bigger, with a little more room. And so we bought a used motorhome, 38 feet, is that right?
Yeah.
And that's how crafting and cruising came about. I'm just kind of touching up the white on this side and the white a little bit over here. So anyway, we have thoroughly enjoyed cruising, camping, I'll get it right in a minute, with our friends. And it's pretty soon gonna be time to start back. So Ronnie's been doing some work on our bus. Well, he calls it a bus, it's a motorhome, to try to get it all ready so we can be ready to camp again. I think our first actual trip is in March. So we've really enjoyed it. You know, it's kind of it's a different world. One of our grandchildren, I think I've told this story before, but one of our granddaughters one time said to us, "What do y'all do?" Like, I think it was when we had actually taken them camping. And she said, "What do y'all do when you come camping with your friends?" And I said, "Nothing." And that's why we like it. If we want to...
Jane Fagel Brinson is watching.
I do not know her. Hello, Jane. Welcome.
And Lori Wayling says, we're north of Salt Lake City and we're having the best snow in many years. We're at 200% or more of snow level. We're the second driest state.
Well, I am very jealous because I love snow. And I know people who have it all the time get tired of it, but man, if you could just like figure out a way to box some of it up and send it to me, I'll take it off your hands. I love it. I just become like a kid again when it snows. Okay, y'all, I think that's good enough for right now. So, let me tilt you up for a minute and say hi. Hi. I'm going to go back down. Now, I'm going to use, I have two products out here to show you to decoupage with. I don't like Mod Podge if I'm doing napkins. I will do it on other things. But I also have this Posh Chalk pigment infuser that you get from Wood You Bend. That's very thin, but it's great for a decoupage medium. Also, you use the infuser when you mix it with the Posh Chalk pigments. They have gold and silver and bronze that are gorgeous. I'm going to mix some of those tonight and show you. Or I use what I've been using before, the DIY liquid patina. I got this from Vintage Retail Therapy by Mara. I love it too. It's a lot thinner than Mod Podge. Tonight, I think, well, actually, tonight, I think I'm going to use Mod Podge because these cards are thicker. Ronnie, will you I think the Mod Podge is in that box right there.
Yes, it is.
because this is a thicker service, moved to Montana, Lisa, you would last one winter. That's probably true. I probably wouldn't like it after a while. But
She likes it as long as the driveway is clear and the roads are clear.
That's right. Yes, we did get a good deal, Kimberly. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Maybe. Okay, so I'm going to take this Mod Podge. This is matte the matte finish. You can get it in gloss. You can get it in matte. I think you can get it even in high gloss. And I'm going to just put it over the area where the card is going to be. Now, one of the ones that I did last night, actually both of the ones I put together last night, I used hot glue on. And I wish that I hadn't, because I didn't get them on straight, and then when I got ready to lift them up and reposition them, it started pulling some of the paint off, and I was kind of kicking myself for doing that. So
Monty Linda's watching. Hey, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
That's my neighbor friend from growing up on the farm.
That's right. Okay, so let's put this one down. Where did it go?
And Kay.
Here it is.
Myrick
Myrick.
tuned in.
Hey, Kay.
What you making, she says. You got to catch her up, Lise.
I am making some little vintage Valentine like hang tags. I'll show you the ones I made last night in just a minute. Let me get this on here.
Micheline said she's had her fair share of shoveling snow in England.
I bet you have, Micheline.
Jody Bloodgood is now watching.
Sister girl, my sister Jody's going with me on the
Hey, Jody.
trip. So, can you hand me one of those black markers in there, please? I think in the box there's black magic markers. I'm going to show y'all what I do. Like right here where it didn't totally touch. I'm just going to take my marker, instead of trying to go back with paint, and I'm just going to bring it right up to the edge right there and straighten that out. And then I can touch up that edge with paint. But I want these touching, and I want my lines to be as straight as I can. Right now these aren't touching, so that's what I'm using the marker for.
Diane asked Lori, which city do you live in? She's in Bountiful. Bountiful, Utah, I guess.
Bountiful, Utah.
Jody says, hi, baby. She's probably talking to you, Lisa.
No, she's talking to you, right? Hey, JoJo.
So anybody just tuning in, Lisa's making little hang tags with vintage Valentine cards and putting them on pieces of 1/8" plywood that I cut out for it in the shape of a hang tag. And then she's painting pretty little things on the back, either checks or diamonds or things like that to make them pretty.
Okay, so here it is on the front. I just touched up around the edges. And then when you flip it, this is what it looks like on the back. So.
Lots of hearts flying up through here.
Oh, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate you. This, here you go, Ronnie. I'm trying to decide if I want to do any kind of little trim. I have all kinds of lace trim.
Carol Stinson says, so pretty, Lisa.
Thank you, Carol. I have this little trim, but I think it's probably going to be too big. It would cover up all my, I don't know, it's kind of cute. It would cover up my checks on this side, but that's kind of cute.
Lori Whaling says, I live in Clearfield, just about 4 miles from Antelope Island, where the bison occupy the island. I've been there. Drove across that little skinny road out to the middle of, or out to the island.
Okay, do y'all like this? I think that's cute. I think it's going to need to be something black rather than, I've got this lace ribbon, but I don't think I'm going to like it as well.
Diane Johnson said, I love that. If you come to Utah again, let her know.
Oh, we will. We will for sure. Okay, I think I'm going to use this trim, at least on this side. And then if we want to put it on the other side, we can.
Judith says she likes it without the trim.
You do?
And
what do y'all think?
Jody Bloodgood says, yes, very cute.
Okay. Trim or no trim? Say yes if you like the trim, no if you don't.
Barbara says, with or without trim, looks great.
Thank you, Barbara. It'll really look better. Oh, is Kay still on here? Let me show you, Kay. This is one I made last night. And when you put the top coat on, which this time I used Liquitex Gloss Medium Varnish for my top coat.
Judith says no trim.
And then it looks like this on the back. And then I did this one. It looks like this on the back. And when I do the backs, I'm going to distress this one too. I forgot about that before I put the top coat on.
Kay Dingle Merrick says, I think it's really darling without any trim.
You do?
There's a lot of without trims.
Without trim? Y'all don't want the trim?
Gilmore Hendricks, it's pretty without the trim. Can you use the lace for the ribbon hang tag?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm going to take this and distress it. What?
Beth Randall, no trim.
No trim.
Did I miss her name earlier? Welcome, Beth. I didn't mean to miss you.
Okay, so see, I'm just distressing it because these are vintage cards. They're antique looking, anyway. Made to look antique, even if they aren't antique. So.
Diane says she loves it without because she loves your checks.
Oh, thank you. So that took some of the in-your-face black off there, which I like better. Now, here's what I also will do. Before I touch it, show you what I'm going to do with the wax, let me just touch a few of these up. Oh, that's going to be too dark. I can't do that. They may not get touched up. Let's see if I can just scrape a couple of them off that are really bugging me because they're not straight. And yes, I'm a perfectionist, but I have learned that perfectly imperfect, in some things anyway, like checks, is fine. So, okay. Now, I'm going to take my antique wax, which I have right here.
I'm not getting any new comments. What's the last one you see?
I like it without checks because I love your checks. That's the last thing I saw.
That's what I see.
Okay, so let me get my brush right here. I'll just take an old brush. I dip it in my bare wax. This is in the color Dark Antique. I dip it in here and then a little bit into my clear wax. Then I'm going to rub it on my board and just grunge it up.
I told Lori that I drove that little skinny road to Antelope Island. She said, yes, the road to get to that is called Antelope Drive. It was beautiful with the new snow that fell.
Oh, I bet it was. Oh, so jealous.
And the sun shining on the mountains to the west of them. Yeah, I remember that.
So jealous. Okay, now see, that looks kind of ugh. But I'm going to take one of my paper towels I can't seem to keep in my lap tonight.
I think I was there in the summer and the bison were waded out into the salty water about up to their bellies.
And I'm rubbing it off. So we still have black and white checks, but they're not so stark. Now, if that bothers you, you don't have to use the wax for sure. You could also take a pad, an ink pad like this. This is Stays On in Chai Epic. And you could take one like this and you could just go around the edges to make them look, can you see that dark brown? Antique. Some people will put it on a brush and do this. I just hold it up to my piece and just go around the edges.
Is that an ink pad?
It's an ink pad. This one is by Stays On. I also use some by Tim Holtz. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, you can get them at Michael's, but just see right here on the edge where it gives it just a little more grunge. So you can do that. And then I'm going to take this same antique wax that I used and I'm going to do the same thing on the front. And it's going to look, oh my goodness, what is she doing? Grunging it, taking most of it right back off. Sometimes you wonder, you know, isn't that kind of wasteful to put a product on and then you wipe most of it back off? Yeah, But if it gives you the look you want, then that's what matters. And I just don't, in black and white checks, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, I don't like them real stark and in your face. All right, so here's the front. And here's the back. And y'all said no trim, so I'm not going to put any trim on. But I will put a hanger in it. So we have this one so far.
You're going to use a ribbon to hang it?
Yes. We have this one. These will look so cute
Lots
in
of
my
hearts
tree.
flying up from somewhere.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. The bison wait after the belly's in the water, yeah. And this one. This is the back of this one. This is the back of this one. And this is the back of this one, okay? Y'all, I have about enough stuff for about 12 or 15, I think. Maybe even more than that. And these are so big, they probably won't all go on my tree. But I can hang them, you can hang it on the pull of a lamp. Like I said, you can put them on presents that you're going to give to people.
Kim Riley Skills is watching. She says hello.
Who?
Kim
Hey,
Riley
Kim
Skills.
Riley Skills. How are you, friend? Okay, let's do our other one now. This one, we are going to decoupage this Mackenzie Child's napkin on. So let me put my top on my Mod Podge because I think I don't need it right now, but I will when I do the card. Okay, I have already removed the extra plies from this napkin. So remember, most good napkins have 3 plies. The top one, and then 2 more under there. If they're from the Dollar Tree, they may only have 2 plies, the top one and the one under it. But you want to remove all the plies except for the top one. You can do that by taking a little piece of tape and rolling it up, rolling it over on itself, and just pulling it this way, putting it in a corner, and then the plies will come right off. I usually end up licking my fingers like this and then just separating them like that. Either way will work fine. So, I'm not going to use this trim. Let me get some of this out of my way. And then I'm going to show you.
Kim says she's doing good.
Good, Kim.
Actually, she said, good, hon. Hope you are also.
I am.
Direct quote there.
I am. We are in Silver Springs, Maryland for Rodney's work.
For those of you who don't know where that is, it's on the Beltway around Washington, D.C. on the north side, where the dreaded Beltway you hear about on the news where the traffic is so bad.
Y'all,
It's
awful. Ugh. We didn't get in it too bad coming this way because we were coming from north, right?
And we were coming into town when everybody was leaving D.C. this afternoon.
But it was terrible. Okay, I'm going to use the Posh Chalk Pigment Infuser. And I'm actually going to take this right up to the top of, well, y'all can't see what I'm doing. I pulled you up. Can you now?
See the paper.
You can see the card?
Yeah, you're over the card. So I see your hand right now.
Let's see. Okay.
You see just the bottom part closest to you.
Oh, my screen looks pretty good.
Okay.
Is it not? Why don't you adjust it for me? Okay, what? Adjust it how it needs to be. Okay, I'm just going to, I only put pigment infuser on part of it. So I'm going to try to get it lined up and just start barely pressing it down, pushing out from the center. Now remember, you can use the iron method if you want to, which I actually prefer, but I didn't bring my little travel iron and I'm not going to turn on the big iron. So, you have a piece of plastic somewhere, Rodney?
Just to rub it
you
with.
could find, yeah.
I probably can. Let me see. I think I might be good.
Okay, now let me lift this up and add some more infuser. Sorry, I know y'all can't really probably see that, but let me just try to get this on here and then I'll show you. If it has wrinkles, that's okay. Remember, perfectly imperfect. And If it has a few wrinkles, it doesn't bother me. But if you're careful and you try to just tap, 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 thank you, as you're going, and smooth it down. And see, there's a wrinkle right there where it was folded. That's okay. Then take a piece of plastic, excuse me, of some kind. Put your hand in it and just start rubbing with the piece of plastic. This way, if you're gentle enough, you won't tear the napkin, but you can help press those wrinkles right out.
Barbara says prayers for safe travels as always.
Thank you, Barbara. And y'all, we just continue to see God's hand working in DeMar, and I actually reposted what somebody had posted today about another football player that needs our prayers. He went in to save his children who were drowning, and he has lung damage and I think heart damage. And he's a former NFL player, I think. So whatever it takes to pull our country together and turn our country back to God. I would never want somebody to have to go through what he did, but you know, he's been the first one to say it's not all about football anymore. He's realized what the priorities are. Okay, so you see we have a bunch of extra napkin here. So I'm going to cut off most of the excess, and then I will take my sanding block and be able to hold it up and sand straight down and get all of the rest off, of the excess off, so it'll have a very nice smooth finish. So let's do that. Okay, just peels right off and you have a very smooth edge. Be careful when you do this about touching the top too firmly until it's dry, because since you're just using that one ply of the napkin, it's easy to get your finger stuck on it if it's got any kind of stickiness around your finger. You can pull a hole in your napkin. I love this method. Now the iron method I was talking about, if y'all have never tried that, if I was going to do that at home, what I would have done is I would have put a coat of Mod Podge on this hang tag, and I would have let it dry, or I would have dried it well with my heat tool. Then I would have laid this napkin down and laid a piece of parchment paper over the top of it, turned my iron on low setting, no steam. You don't want any water. And then I would iron over my parchment paper, pushing from the middle out slowly. And what it does is it reactivates the glue underneath it and keeps it from wrinkling so bad. So look, isn't that cool? Love it. Now,
Lori Whaling says 2 Chronicles 7:14.
If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, I will heal their land. Something like that.
Micheline says, sadly, an Air Force football player died today on his way to class.
Oh,
he was only 21 years old.
Gosh. Y'all, that's why we have to be ready. None of us know when our last breath on this earth will be taken. And we have to know that when we leave this place, we're going to spend eternity with Jesus. Because the only other place is eternal damnation. And I just can't stand the thought of anybody I know going through that. I just can't.
Kim Skill says, need that napkin. I think that means
Isn't it cool? It's a Mackenzie Childs. You know what? I think I need to,
plug back up again.
undo my glue tool. Ooh, almost said the word. Y'all don't say the glue, you know what, on there on Facebook, because you might get put in the FB jail if you do. It's hard not to, because that's what we all know it as. Okay, so let me just take this fabulous dryer my husband got me. I love it because it's so fast. It's a little fuzzy right there, but it doesn't matter.
Just went and got her two while I was at it.
Yeah, he did.
One for the motorhome and one for the art studio.
Isn't that cool? And that's kind of a tough thing, you guys, is when I'm at home, sometimes I'm crafting in the house, sometimes I'm crafting in the art studio, and sometimes I'm crafting in the motorhome. And I can't afford to have materials at all places. So I have to kind of run back and forth, and it's been a while since I've been on a trip with Rodney, so I had made myself a list of what I needed to pack to be able to craft with, but it's a lot. Fortunately, we drove and not flew, or I would have been way over the weight limit. Okay, so we have this one done. I'm just poking through that napkin where the hole is. Okay. Now we're going to put our card on here, which basically fits perfectly on this one. But we're going to go around the edges and the top with the gold Posh Chalk pigment I'm going to show you that I absolutely love. Will you see if that, I don't think that's on straight necessarily. Will you put it on for me? Okay, let me get my Mod Podge back out. And
You need it? You're done with this?
no, I'm done with it, yeah. Okay, so let's put a good amount of Mod Podge on here. And again, this is in the matte finish, but it doesn't matter on this. Because I meant to say also, when you use a wax like I used a while ago, you don't have to put a top coat on if you don't want to. You can. And I did on those two cards that I showed you, I already did, just because I wanted them to have a brighter sheen to them. So I did put a top coat on them, but you don't have to if you've used a wax. Okay. So let me lay this down. Try to get it as straight as I can. Of course, it's not cut totally straight, I'm sure. Okay, you know what? It's not, doesn't fit perfectly on here. So I need to make sure that I've got the same amount showing on all sides so I can touch it up with my gold.
They may already know this, but for my purposes, if you wanted to get a napkin like that, how do you get them? Where do you order them?
Well, there are napkin clubs. There's some napkin clubs on Facebook. I'm a member of a couple of them. I don't think I've actually bought from them in a while. Isn't that cool? Now, and then you can get on Facebook and do Mackenzie Childs napkins. I think there's a napkin swap group, maybe. I don't know. You can find them. Now this one, I'm gonna have to put my glue tool back in to get it to stick. But I'm not, what I was gonna say was I'm not going to wax over this one on the back because it's a napkin. And I don't wanna be rough with that napkin. So I'm not gonna wax that napkin. I probably will wax the front of this once it's all stuck down well. What I want to do now is to mix up some Posh Chalk with the infuser. I've got a little container here. Y'all will love this stuff. It's so pretty. Oh, where's the infuser? Did I just give you that? Yeah, the little, yeah. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to put just a little bit of infuser in here. It's not going to take much because this is just for my edges. So I'm going to put a little infuser in here.
Check comments here.
That's probably, let me put just a little more. That's probably way more than I need.
And Barbara Polson says, yes, you can swap or buy the Mackenzie Child napkins or rice paper.
Yeah. And there's lots of places you can buy rice paper. You can even get decorated rice paper or the plain if you want to print your own on Amazon. Let me clean out this brush real well. And then, actually, I think I may use this brush because it's small. Okay, let me get this pigment. This is the Posh Chalk pigment in the color. It's from Woodgie Bend. It's in the color Pale Gold. Posh Chalk pigment. All right, so it's just a powdery pigment. It just takes a little bit. Y'all look how rich that gold looks, just like that. So pretty. So I'm gonna dump some in here. And then I'm gonna stir my pigment up. And this color is absolutely gorgeous. Wait a minute, I'll hold it up there so y'all can see. I'm trying to get it all stirred first. Oh, it's so pretty. I like it better than the liquid gold, you guys. Plus it doesn't smell like the liquid gold does. That stuff is strong. Talking about a headache waiting to happen, Barbara Poston. That liquid gold is it for me. Headache in a bottle. Okay, look. Isn't that pretty?
It's pretty